Every year, over 30 million people in Germany receive this letter that quietly predicts their financial future. Because this is not just a letter, it's your retirement on one single page. But with figures ranging from 282 euros to well over 33,000 euros, the real question is, how much will I get when I retire? Let's decode the Renteninformation line by line and reveal the 3 numbers that decide your future, so you understand what most people completely miss. You'll automatically receive your Renteninformation once you're at least 27 years old and have paid into the German pension system for 5 years. From then on, it arrives every year from the Deutsche Rentenversicherung and shows how much you could expect to receive when you retire and, of course, when you'll retire. In my case, that's the year 2056, the month after I turn 67 years old. And your date might be pretty similar. Where our letters will differ though is in the first paragraph. You'll see the first big number in the paragraph, Rente wegen voller Erwerbsminderung, your disability pension. That number shows how much money you'd receive if you were unable to work due to health reasons. In my case, there's no number at all. And that's because you can only claim this pension if you paid at least 3 years of mandatory contributions within the last 5. And since I've been out of the public pension system for much longer, as the founder of Perfinex, I don't qualify anymore. Which is completely fine for me, because the government disability pension is not the same as my private disability insurance, die Berufsunfähigkeitsversicherung. Die Erwerbsminderungsrente only pays if you can't do any job for more than 3 hours a day, not just your current one. The private insurance protects your specific profession. The government pension only covers your general ability to work at all. And remember, the amount shown on your letter is a gross value before taxes and health insurance. So even if you're entitled to it, it's usually not enough to maintain your lifestyle. Let's move on to the number you really care about, your future retirement pension. On your Renteninformation, this section is called Höhe Ihrer künftigen Regelaltersrente. And this part contains 2 big numbers. The first one is the pension you've already earned, basically a snapshot of where you stand right now. It tells you how much you'd get if you stop paying contributions today, if you became self-employed, for example. If your retirement is still far away, this number will naturally look small, because you've only earned a portion of your total pension so far. The second number, just below that, is much more interesting, your projected pension, what you could receive at your regular retirement age, assuming you keep paying into the pension system at the same level as in the past 5 years. So if your income stays roughly the same, this is the best estimate of your future gross pension. And gross is the key word here, because both amounts are also before taxes and before health insurance. Now there are probably 2 things on your mind. First, wow, Axel's numbers are incredibly tiny. That's right, and that's totally fine for me, because I don't want and I don't need the government pension for my retirement. More about that later on. And second, where do these numbers actually come from? For that, we have to turn the page and look at the section called Grundlagen der Rentenberechnung. Here the Deutsche Rentenversicherung explains how your pension amounts are calculated. It's actually a simple formula built on 2 main ingredients: Entgeltpunkte, or pension points, and the current pension value. Let's get started with Entgeltpunkte. Think of these points as the currency of the German pension system. Each year you earn points based on your income compared to the national average. If you earn exactly the average income, currently 50,493 euros per year, you get 1 full point. If you earn twice the average, you get 2 points. That's the maximum. If you earn half, you get half a point. Over your career, all these points are added up in the section Rentenbeiträge und Entgeltpunkte, which lists your total contributions. How much you paid, how much your employer paid, and any additional payments from other sources. For example, from health insurance, die Agentur für Arbeit, or from the state for child raising periods. I have about 7 points, and when I was a lieutenant in the German army, I paid very little in taxes and social security. That's why my employer, the Bundeswehr, paid about 3 times as much as I did. If you work for a regular private company, your numbers should be much closer to 50-50. Each of your pension points is then multiplied by the current pension value, the aktuelle Rentenwert. Right now, 1 point is worth €40.79 per month. So 1 full year of earning the average income gives you a future pension of about €40 per month, before taxes, before deductions. That's why my current pension on page 1 was about €280, because 7 points times €40 is €280 pension. And to earn that 1 point, you and your employer together pay 18.6% of your salary into the system, roughly €9,400 a year if you make the average income. So you contribute about €9,400 today to get less than €500 in retirement. That really puts the system into perspective, doesn't it? And if you're wondering what all that means for you, don't worry, you don't have to figure it out alone. You can book a free meeting where we'll help you find the best way to improve your retirement and build real wealth for your future. And lucky you, there's one more piece of good information on this letter, but also one that's not so good. Let's start with the good news. Your pension doesn't stay the same forever, it can actually increase over time. Right below your projected pension, you'll see a section called Rentenanpassung. Here, the Deutsche Rentenversicherung shows 2 examples of how your pension could grow in the future. One assumes a yearly increase of 1%, the other of 2%. That means your pension could end up quite a bit higher than the number printed above, at least on paper. In my case, that would be around €640 if the point value increases by 1% each year, or about €880 if it goes up by 2% annually. Of course, no one really knows what the actual increase will be. It depends on wages, politics, and the economy. Seeing that number feels good, right? Well, that feeling doesn't last that long, because the bad news is waiting right here on page 2. Where the Deutsche Rentenversicherung explains why those bigger numbers we just saw don't tell the full story, because the calculations so far completely ignore inflation. What that means is simple. Your future pension might look higher in euros, but it will buy you much less than it does today. Prices keep rising and your pension won't keep up. The letter even gives an example. With an inflation rate of just 1.5% per year, €100 today will have only the purchasing power of €63 when I retire. And 1.5% is actually pretty optimistic. At 2%, which is much closer to reality, those €100 would only be worth €54. Having half the purchasing power is a huge difference, and that's one reason why so many people underestimate their real pension gap. Which brings us back to page 1, zusätzlicher Vorsorgebedarf. Right here, the Rentenversicherung tells you clearly that your state pension alone won't be enough to maintain your lifestyle. They even write in black and white, you'll need additional savings to close your pension gap. So, use this letter for what it really is. Your wake-up call. If you want to learn how to build your own pension and invest smartly in Germany, book a free meeting with us right here and watch this video next to build your perfect retirement. Your future self will thank you, and so do I for watching this video. Bis zum nächsten Mal.